Hi friend, and welcome back. After hanging the wallpaper and curtains in part 1, it's time to keep this dining room refresh moving along. Today I'm sharing how I hang a vintage plate wall for that classic collected feel. But stay tuned, there's a huge surprise on one of these walls and you just have to see it. My name is Cindy and I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. We'll start with a tour of all the rooms that I'll be making over in future videos. Here's our living space, and you've seen this room before lots of times, and don't pay any attention to some of the stuff that you just see here. Oh, the lights just came on. I have everything on timers. Save this room, and then when you turn, there's my dining room, and right now I'm standing in the living room in front of that sofa. There's the dining room, and then I'm gonna stand right here at the table, and then there's the kitchen, and then back to the living room. Let's get a plan for this plate wall. This is what I've come up with so far, and I think I like it. I really like the 3 center plates because they go together in size. I didn't even buy them together. I bought them from 2 or 3 different stores, and I was thrilled to see that I had those 3 sizes. And then the shelves hold up those plates. I just think that gold adds a nice look. And then this helps to tie in some of the blue with my small green plates. And the fun thing about those small plates is I can interchange those with different colors depending on the season. So I think I like this look. Now it's just time to transfer it all to that wall. I started by laying the design out on the floor, and I measured out the area of the wall, and then I kind of put my tape measure on the floor so that I knew what kind of area I had to cover. And then I spread out the plates in a pretty design the way that I felt that it looked nice. The next step was to transfer those measurements up to the wall. That can be a little tricky, so think it through. Use a little pencil, a tape measure, and start with the centermost item. For me, it was those 3 plates that go in the center. Once I had those marked out where they needed to be, the rest was a piece of cake. It is a couple days later and I'm still kind of working on this. Now, the plate wall that you just saw me working on here, let me show it to you. Let's get you a little closer there. Okay, there I am on the plate wall. Now I ran out of hangers. They're on their way, should be here today. So I've moved over to this wall. This wall used to be the plate wall, and I've always loved it for so many years. And I've already taken some things down. I'll pop in a picture here of what it used to look like. But what I would like it to look like now is a collection of my Botanical vintage prints. These are, what are these? They're like calendar dates. I'll show you up close here what this one looks like. And I would love to have all 12 months displayed on this wall. Currently I have 6 months. I have a duplicate. I have 2 Aprils, but I have 6 months, and I would like to keep collecting till I get all of them. That could take me years. So instead of waiting for that to happen, I'm going to display 4 of them at a time. And it would be really cool if I could display the ones that I'm currently in, like the couple of months that I'm currently in. We'll see if that happens. I think I need to make some changes here. I love this board. My husband made this board for me. And these hooks, I'll give you a close-up here. These hooks are from the school that his dad worked in. So these hooks have a lot of special meaning, and I don't want to get rid of them. And I love pictures hanging from these hooks. So I think what I'll have to do is move them so that the hooks can hang the pictures and they're not bumping here. I've kind of got it set up a little bit of what I want that to happen. So let's get started doing that. These 2 prints are the duplicates that I mentioned. They're both for April. They're the exact same print. Now I know that the frames are not the same. We'll talk about that in a second. But look at the print itself. One that I have had longer than the other one, this one here. I think I only paid a few dollars for it, maybe 2 years ago. And then this one I just recently purchased at the Restore for $5. I think it was $5. But look at the color difference between them. I have a little glare there. Let me move over. There we go. The glare's gone. The color difference is probably from fading because the one on the left probably received more sunlight than the one on the right, and that made such a difference. Now the frames are different. The one on the left is the original frame. The one on the right, that print was in a different frame that was not very pretty, and I made it over again. I'll pop in that video where I made over this print. I wanted to give you a plan of how I'm getting these 4 prints up on the wall evenly. And I would plan to hang them from the board that is up there. I'm not sure that's going to work. We'll see. I don't want to take the board down, but we'll see, because I'd really like to hang these prints from the hooks that I just removed. So what I did was I measured from that point in the wall over to the end, and I got 112 inches, and I asked my Alexa for the midpoint of that, which wound up being 50 something, 56. I found that halfway mark, and then the 2 middle prints, you can see here, this, by the way, that line there in the center happens to be, where is it, that one? This happens to be the center point. So I've put the 2 center prints there, and I've kind of offset them just a little bit. And then that distance I will use as the distance between those 2 as well as these 2. I think my camera just went fuzzy or blurry. Sorry about that. You see here I'm working kind of in a tight area because I don't want to have to move that big heavy table and all those chairs to do this. So I'm kind of squished in that area right there. Okay, friends, I know it's crazy, but I've got to leave my room, my dining room, the way that it is for the time being. I have had something come up. I cannot finish this project. Plus, I think this video has gotten to be way too long, and I still have 2 more big projects to complete. Let's talk about the things that I did get accomplished. I got the rug in, which was great. I decided the new placement for the dining room table. That was great. And then I decided to hang this plate wall in the background here. Now you saw I ran out of supplies and I had to order some things from Amazon, and while I was waiting for them to get here, it was about 9 o'clock at night, this idea just popped in my mind, knowing that these plate hangers would not arrive for 2 more days. Anyway, this idea popped in my mind to hang those 2 oval wooden picture frames. They're antique, they're beautiful. I have quite a collection of these oval and round frames. They're one of my favorites, and every time I see them, I try to grab them. But I decided to hang those instead of plates, and I had all the supplies to do that. So at about 9:30 at night one night, I hung those oval frames. I think they look beautiful. Now, the 2 things that I did not get done, well, let's talk about what I did get done. I got the rug installed. Well, I installed it. I lugged it in from the car and unrolled it and moved all the furniture. Well, you saw all that. And I decided on a new placement for the dining room table, which is completely different from what we've ever done in this 30 years of our being in this home. I also decided to move that antique blue cabinet that you see there on the back wall underneath the plate wall. So that's what I got accomplished. Well, I hung the plate wall. That was quite time consuming too. The 2 projects that I did not get accomplished are the ceiling. Like you can see here, my ceiling it's a wreck. I've got to come up with a new plan. I'm going to have to shop for new lights. I don't think that I'm going to be able to thrift them. I've been looking for months, but I do have a really great idea for the area where I will hang this light. So stay tuned. That project is coming. And then the other project that did not get completed was this wall with my beautiful botanical prints. I got them hung up. Well, I got 4 of them hung up, and I just didn't like it. I don't even know if I grabbed a photo of that. That was another one of those late night projects. I've got to come up with a better plan for that. And that's exactly what I did. I happened to be zipping into Aldi one day and stopped in at my local Goodwill right next to Aldi, and I found this mirror for only $20. I called my sister. I said, hey, help me get this thing hung. I have the hardware and everything. She headed right over. We started off by figuring out where to place it on the wall. Now this mirror is 50 pounds. Yes, it's really heavy. I got it in the back of my little Subaru all by myself, but I knew that I would need help getting it up on the wall. Before I went home, I headed to my local hardware store to make sure that I could find a piece of hardware to hang this heavy mirror. And I found this French cleat system. You basically drill this into the wall, and it comes with a little level so that you know whatever you're going to hang will hang level. This is the part that goes on the wall. Then there is a similar metal piece that goes on the back of the item that you're going to hang, and these two pieces of hardware fit inside each other. Now the one that I purchased is rated up to 100 pounds, and I weighed my mirror and it's 50 pounds. I think it's actually 45 plus pounds. So I knew that this piece of hardware would hold it. I found one stud and was able to get one of those screws into the stud, and the rest of the screws are into this 1/2 inch deep what is this board called? It's a textured wall board that we have. It's actual wood up on my wall. So I knew that it was going to be good and strong. By the way, I called one of my good blogging friends. Her husband has been dealing with construction. They live in Chicago. I'm in Delaware. We got on FaceTime and he said, this is the perfect thing, the perfect way to hang a heavy flat piece like a mirror up on the wall. So my sister and I hoisted it up there with all the gumption that we had, and we got it set into that cleat. You have to lift the mirror up above and then let it slide into the back of that cleat. This gorgeous mirror would have had a dresser to go along with it. It had a wire on the back so that it could be hung on the wall, and it also had these felt pads just below that wood frame. You can probably see them in the image. They're little like bumps. And the mirror would have also rested on top of the dresser just as added security. So what we're doing is we're determining if this mirror is too high. It's going to be hard to see that on camera. But when we were up close to it, like when I'm up here, Laurie, you can't see my sister. She's over there. I'm talking to somebody, not to myself. But when we're close, it seemed like the right height. But what we've done is we've gone to the other side of the room. Here, let me kind of back you up so you can see what we're doing. I want you to understand this so that you can think it through. There we go. I want you to think it through if you have to hang something heavy like this. We got on the other side of the room, and now it seems too high.
It's the same height as that dressing on the wall, though.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so what she's saying is the scale of this big mirror in comparison to the scale of the whole collage on the other side actually works. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, it is.
First thing I noticed it.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's a gorgeous mirror. Let's see what you think. Make sure you tell me down in the comments what you think about this. All right, so what we just figured out, actually my sister figured it out. When we stood on this side of the room, and you're gonna see me here we go. When I'm square on to this mirror, it was lower on this side than it was on that side. And she kind of went over there and finagled with it, and what we think happened was it just wasn't completely seated in the cleat. And once we got it completely seated into that cleat, now it's perfect. So let me know what you think about this mirror on this wall. I think it's perfect. And then let me show you here also, that mirror in comparison to the wall collage, I mean, the height of it is perfect. Oh, I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then below it, I think what I would like to do in this area right here is get a very narrow shelf. I'm gonna have to go thrifting and find a narrow shelf just to kind of balance it out even more with this side of the room. You won't want to miss the next video. I'm finally tackling that hanging light problem. I'm so glad you watched, and I hope you were inspired to refresh one of your rooms. I'll see you next time.